Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today you are joining me in my new car, which is the Porsche Macan S, which I picked up about a week ago. And in this video what we're going to be doing is really just talking about the spec and how this car has been specced up and what was important for me when I was looking at buying one of these cars. So yeah, let's just dive straight into it. So let's start off with the exterior of the car. The Porsche Macan S that I've chosen is finished off in a jet black metallic, and when the car is clean, which clearly as you can see it's not, this color really pops and it just makes the car look really stealthy. Then we move on to the wheels. These are the 20-inch RS Spider style alloy wheels, and in the center you can see it's also got the color crest. So moving around the rear end of the car, it is pretty much business as usual Porsche Macan style, and I really do like the way it's flanked off with the quad exhaust tailpipes. We've got a two-tone leather interior, the black and the red, and I think with the exterior, the interior really goes well as a color combination. And for me, I think that was the right selling point for this car, because when the car is clean, the black exterior, the two-tone leather interior, and you got the pan roof as well, which lets in quite a nice amount of light. It's just the perfect sort of combination for me for this Porsche Macan. So guys, that was quite a quick walk around of the car, just showing you like the exterior and the interior in terms of how the car is set off. Now what we're going to talk about is like the spec on this car. That'll give you a little bit more of an insight as to how this car is kind of specced up really. But I must say, it's so refreshing coming from a BMW and into, you know, this Porsche brand. Everything in here, it's so different. I mean, I've had like 5 BMWs pretty much back to back, and just sitting in something different and owning and, you know, just being behind the wheel of, you know, this Porsche Macan, it's just so refreshing. And there's nothing that I can touch here that relates to a BMW, if that makes sense. I mean, you know, if I'm in my M4 and I'm jumping out of that into, like, say, you know, the brand new 3 Series that I had, which obviously for those of you that are new to the channel, which I traded in for this car, some of the switchgear was very similar, whereas with this, I mean, it's a completely different brand. So you know, everything is so refreshing. So I'm going to talk to you now about the spec list on this car, and some of the things are going to be standard on this car and some of them are going to be new. So one of the first things that I really like is this steering wheel. The way this is, it's not overly, you know, sort of chunky, it's really direct, and I just love the feel of this. You know, when you're just sitting behind it and you're driving. Then you've got the dials right in front of you. You've got the rev counter, which is typical Porsche style, right in the middle. And being the Macan S, I believe, you know, it's got like a grey background, and then it's flanked off to the left with the speedo. And then on the right you've got this multi-function display, which again, it's a very nice feature. You know, it adds that little bit more information for the driver, and I think that's a real nice kind of touch that Porsche have been doing now for a few years. Then we move to the center console. Now this center console, you have a plethora of buttons here. It is very button happy, but personally, I mean, I have sat in some other cars like the Audi RSQ8, which everything was all touchscreen, and that's quite a nice clean design, but when you're on the fly and you're driving, that does become quite irritating. Whereas with these, you know, you've got the buttons and everything. Once you figure out where the buttons are, it just becomes second nature, and it's a physical button that you are pressing, and you know, you're kind of clicking. So I think, even though a lot of people might think, oh, it's you know, it's button crazy, it does look quite good, and I think it gives you that real kind of cocoon feel when you sat behind the steering wheel, and you feel like you're sitting in the car rather than on it as well. So I think Porsche, you know, I do like the way, you know, you've kept true to, like, say, the buttons and this kind of cockpit view. So let's talk about the options that are fitted to this car. This isn't a highly spec Porsche Macan. I mean, the options list on the Porsche Macans is just phenomenal. I mean, I was trying to spec one up and you just go on and on and on, and things that you'd expect to be standard on a car like this, you find that you're having to pay extra for. The guy or the woman, whoever spec'd this car up before me owning it, they've chosen some options and they've left out some as well, so it really doesn't sort of make sense. So the paintwork is a metallic paintwork, which is nice to have, and that is the jet black. Now starting off from the front end, being the Porsche Macan S, you do get this real nice kind of a splitter that you can take off, or you can have spec so it's actually removed. This one has got it, and I do like that. The lights, you have 4 different light options. So you get like the bi-xenons, you get LEDs, you get the adaptive lights, I think they're called PDLS or something like that. I don't really know the acronyms, but there you are. And then you get the LED lights. Now this one hasn't got any of them. This one has actually got the halogen headlights, which, you know, I've always had LED headlights, and now I'm going back to headlights that I had on the car like 20 years ago. It is what it is. We might be, you know, looking to upgrade those at some point, so definitely stay tuned for future content on this Macan. So that's what the front end looks like, and it does have some fog lights down the bottom. Moving around the side, like we pointed out earlier on, this has been opted with the 20-inch RS design alloy wheels, which I think on the car like this, they do look really nice. They are dirty at the moment, but we're going to be addressing that soon as well. Those wheels were the wheels I really wanted on a Porsche Macan, so I've got those. And as you can see, the crest in the center of those wheels is color. That again is an option, because that's usually in like black and white or monochrome, so I'm quite happy that that has got the color crest in it, which again is something that I like. Then as we move around the side of the car, it doesn't have privacy glass. Big deal. I can get that done locally from a good friend of mine, so you know that's going to get addressed as well. And this hasn't had the D-chrome done to it, so the chrome stripping on this car is there. You can have that de-chromed, and I might address that, but I don't know, at the moment it is what it is. Moving around the rear end of the car, now we've talked about the quad exhaust tailpipes. These ones are the optional silver sports tailpipes. It doesn't have the sports exhaust, but it's got the sports tailpipes, and these are the silver ones. The standard ones are like, I think they're a bit more kind of dulled out, and these ones are chrome, so it's a nice feature. It's, you know, it's a few £100 worth, I suppose it is, and that's quite nice to have. So moving on to the interior of the car, you know, we've already spoken about the color combination. These are an option extra in terms of the design of these, being like the red and the black. You've got the panoramic glass roof, which again is an option extra, you know, and I'm quite glad that it's been specced. I don't think there's many, you know, Porsche Macans that, you know, don't have the pan roof, so trying to find one with a pan roof wasn't like an issue. This does have the PDK gearbox, as they all do, which is quite nice. So another thing that this car doesn't have is the PASM system, which is the Porsche Adaptive Suspension Management System. I think that's what it's called. And basically what that essentially does is it's an adaptive suspension system. So when you stick the car into sport mode, it, you know, kind of firms things up, and usually with, you know, when it's in comfort mode, it's just a bit more comfortable. A bit like the way in BMW you've got the adaptive suspension. This doesn't have it. Do I miss it? Right now I don't. I'll be honest, I think it rides just fine. It doesn't have the airmatic suspension. Now that is quite a rare option, I found anyway, on Porsches when I was looking around. You know, for the Macan, I couldn't really find many that had it. Those that did have it then didn't have the right size wheels and all of that stuff, so it's trying to get the balance right. So the airmatic suspension gives you the ability to raise the car and then lower it when you park up and stuff, so it doesn't have that. Do I miss it? At the moment, no I don't. But what this car does have is the sports chrono package, and that is something that I actually wanted, because you get that nice dial and the clock. You also do get another driving mode, which is the sports plus mode, which really livens things up when you are pushing the car, and you know, the gear shifts become that little bit more ferocious. It holds the gear longer, and it really makes the car pulled really well. So I'm quite glad that it has got the sports chrono pack. Another thing that this car has got, and believe it or not, this is an option, is it comes with front and rear parking sensors and the reversing camera. That is an option I found out. They don't even come with that, so you know, I'm glad that it's got that. It's not the best quality reversing camera in terms of its you know, kind of graphical form. I've seen better, but at least it's got it, so it's good to have. So guys, do let me know what you think of the way this car has been specced up. I know that this isn't a highly spec car, but do you think that I've got the right balance between the way the kind of spec is on this car? I mean, for me, pan roof, the leather interior and the way this has been set off, and the exterior and those wheels was key. Things like, you know, privacy glass, I can get that sorted, that's not a problem. There's plenty of local businesses that, you know, will help me out with that, and the car is actually booked in to get that sorted. That's not a problem. Oh, it does have another wonderful feature. The rear windows, they've got a mechanical sunblind. I have no idea why the previous owner went and had that spec'd and not privacy glass, but it's there. and I'm sure we can probably use that at some point. But overall, guys, I'm quite, you know, I'll be honest, I'm quite happy that, you know, this is the car that I've ended up with. I can always do like another vid on why did I, you know, buy a Porsche Macan and what are the cars that, you know, I was considering, and we can talk about that at length at another vid. Overall, the first kind of week of ownership of this car has been pretty good. I have enjoyed every mile that I've done on it. For me, obviously, this is the petrol version. This is the 3-litre V6 twin turbo, 340 odd horsepower thereabouts, and it does drive really nicely. So I'm quite impressed with the way this car, you know, kind of drives. But we will do a full-on driving vid in due course. Hopefully, guys, you have enjoyed this content. If you found it useful, you know, give this video a like, share, subscribe, comment in the comment section below, and hopefully, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.